Sahana vavatu Sahana bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant, and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you, welcome to the Satsang of Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. We are continuing our study circle on Gita Vahini. So on your soft copy, I think it is page 18, right? And on in the book, it is page 26 we are going to start on. So last week, just I'll tell the highlights, what we discussed. Nirupama, if anything we missed, you can add. So main thing we talked about, because he was worried about the war, what is the consequences. And then Lord Krishna said, a wise man doesn't grieve of people who are living or people who are dead, right? Most of us, that's all people they grieve about people who are dead, people who are living, what is going to happen to them. So he says, so on there, last time, couple of times we talked about who is a wise man according to Lord Krishna, Pandita. Who is a Pandita? Anybody wants some? We want to have interactive. Who is the Pandita? Yuta.
Samadarshana.
Very good. First quality is Pandita Samadarshana. He has, like before we said, who is the one of perfection, action, Samatvam Yoga, which is like these definitions Lord Krishna gave, we should know, like what we said, Samatvam Yoga, which is Yoga Karma Sukha. Like that here's Samadarshana. What is the example? He gives beautiful example. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Sunisaivasya Pakecha Pandita Samadarshana. He gives the example. You see, equal means Lord always gives example to remember. So, really highly intellectual Brahmin, good person, you respect him a lot. That for that person, or a person who eats dog's meat. I didn't know those days they could eat dog's meat in those days too. So for him they are equal. And Gavi Hastini Sunicheva. And whether it is a cow is a sacred animal for Hindus. Cow or Hastini, that means elephant, which is regarded as a big thing, or a dog, which is not regarded highly in the day. So all these are same for him because he sees only Atman or Brahman. So that is first quality is Pandita Samadarshana. Okay, what is next? Good, you have started. So you are the second one.
The one humble.
No, but here definition of Lord Krishna. Right? I will make it easy next time. At least this way you can tell. Isya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagdi dagda karmanam tamahuhu panditam buddha. Everything is like a definition. He is a wise man whose karma is burnt by jnana. That means he is so wise, nothing bothers him, because most of us karma attaches us. Good, bad. So they're all bind. Because like he gives jnana is like agni, that means fire. If I fire anything, it makes into ashes, right? Because for us, karma binds us. That is what Swami Vivekananda. Good karma, it is like gold chain. Bad karma is an iron chain. Chain is chain, it binds you. But if you have jnana, then it is completely destroyed. Karma cannot bind you because you know God is the doer and the process is divine. Once you have that conviction, it not bind you. That is the second definition is jnanagdi dagda karmanam tamahu punditam. The wise man is the one who is not, fire of knowledge burns away all the karma. What is the third thing? This is what he was discussing. Third definition is asocyan anvasochastam prajnavadamsya bhasese gatasuna gatasuncha nanu sochanti. Pandita, we were talking about. He was giving a big lecture. Oh, I want to go and contemplate, go to the forest, meditate. What is the purpose of fighting this bloodshed and all this? Not good. He says, you are talking wise words. Gatasuna gatasuncha nanu sochanti pandita. Wise man doesn't grieve about the people who are dead or people are who are living. This is the three things. So if you say somebody is wise, you should qualify. First is samadarshana, equal-minded. Second is the fire of knowledge has burned all his karmas. Third, he doesn't grieve about the people who are gone or living. So if any of us do that, that means still we have to work on getting some wisdom. So that is because that is the goal and that is what we see. And second thing we talked about, he's saying he's worried about fighting the thing. So you came not as a regular fight for no reason. You're not inviting somebody. This is a righteous war where this war is between dharma and adharma. He is looking at people. They are my cousins. They are my grandparents. They are my teachers. They are my nephews. All those things he is looking at. But he says that is not the thing. They are people who are practicing adharma. They are not on the righteous thing. And you are doing on the righteous. So the fight is between dharma and adharma, in which case your duty is to eliminate the adharma. That is the second thing. Because, and also he is giving a clue who Arjuna has to get on all of us. He says very important, last week we said, Lord is the cause of all, not you. So he is the one he makes he is the puppeteer and we are the puppets. He is the operator and we are the machine. Like that, we should remember that. Then you don't. So he is the one who pulls the strings for everything, and we should pray to him so that he takes us in the right direction. So that is where we just for the continuity. Those are the points to remember. Now we'll start on page 26, Nirupama, then we'll continue. Starts with Bhishma, Drona.
Sairam. Bhishma, Drona, and the rest have come like true soldiers and Kshatriyas to engage in battle. They do not weep like you. Consider that. They will never grieve or withdraw. Arjuna, this is the testing time for you. Remember, let me tell you this also. There was never a time when I was not. Why? There was never a time when even you and all these kings and princes were not. Tat is the Paramatma, Tvam is the Jivatma, and both were the same, are the same, and will be so forever. Prior to the pot, in the pot, and after the pot, it was, is, and will be clay. Arjuna was shocked into awareness and wakefulness by all of this. He said, maybe you are God, maybe you are indestructible. I weep not for you, but for such as us, come yesterday, present today, off tomorrow. What happens to us? Please enlighten me. Do you want, Uncle, you want to stop there?
Next paragraph also continue and we can discuss.
One point has to be carefully noticed here. Tat is the Godhead, is Nityam, eternal. Everyone accepts it, but Tvam, the individual, too is Godhead, Asi. It too is eternal, though it cannot be grasped so easily or so quickly. So Krishna elaborates this and says, Arjuna, you too are eternal as the absolute. Seen apart from the limitations, the individual is the universal. Prior to the appearance of the jewel, there was just gold. During the existence of the jewel, there is just gold. And after the name form of the jewel has gone, the gold persists. The Atma persists in the same way, body or no body. When I was reading this earlier, it's really powerful to me how this can really be taken into our lives, because as we enter each day of our life, it truly is a little bit of a battle, because every day there's some sort of challenge that we're overcoming. And as Arjuna really has this, this dilemma, whether or not he's weeping for the loss of his family members. He's weeping for the loss of lives around him. And sometimes we, get frustrated if we're late, or we get frustrated if something doesn't go the way we expect it to. But I think this sentence that's right before the passage we just read, there is a higher power that moves everything. That is so important. And I think it leads into this knowledge, this wisdom that higher power exists within everything that is, even though what we see, what our mind projects is something physical, and we attach a name to it, it is truly a manifestation as well as the will of what is divine. And within all of this, as Arjuna is really kind of struggling with all of this, Lord Krishna really is really making this point that everything is absolute, and this understanding that everything physical is just temporary, but this absolute, this Atma is what is permanent. And once we understand that, then we start to understand that grief and all of these things really are not the true human way of being. What we should be is to be sort of equanimous, I don't know if that's a word, but at least blissful.
Yeah, I think that's the essential two important points you said. So first, we all accept most of the theistic religions. We all accept there is God, there is a higher power which runs the whole thing. As you said, he is the puppeteer, we are the puppets, or he is the operator, we are the machine. So most of even the Judaism, Christianity, and Hindu or Islam, they all accept that. But the beautiful about Vedanta is that higher power is not somewhere there. That Father, thou art in heaven, hallowed by thy name. You are in heaven. No, that higher power is you, yourself. That is the beauty of the Vedanta. So first he says there is a higher power runs everything. But where is that higher power? That is you. That is why that beautiful Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, that is called one of the Mahavakyas. There are 4 Mahavakyas. So just next time, all of you should remember. So at least remember this. First is Tattvamasi. Second is Aham Brahmasmi. Third is Prajnanam Brahma. And fourth is Ayamatma Brahma. At least we should go and refer, because these are called Mahavakyas. Each comes from one Veda, and there is the summary, like for example, Tattvamasi. That is from Chandogya Upanishad of the Samaveda. And looks you are like familiar. Then next is Aham Brahmasmi from Bruhadaranya, correct? Bruhadaranyaka Upanishad of Yajurveda. And then Prajnanam Brahma, Rigveda Aitiriya Upanishad. And finally, Ayamatma Brahma, that is from Mandukya Upanishad of the Adharvana Veda. So for each Veda, one Mahavakya is represented. So that means this is a summary of the whole thing. And finally, the gist is that you are Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Atma Brahman. But Tattvamasi is, that is why Swami is repeating it. Tat means God, that. Tvam means we. Asi means we have become that. You are that. So this in Chandogya Upanishad, this Guru, Uddalaka, Aruni, he teaches his son, which is the disciple, is Swetaketu. Tattvamasi Tattvamasi Swetaketu. He says that 9 times. Because one time, that's why in spiritual scriptures, you may say same thing Lord Krishna will be saying in the 2nd chapter, again the 9th chapter, again he will tell the 12th chapter. because it doesn't sink into us unless you go on repeating so many things. So many lifetimes we thought we are this body, mind, intellect. To realize that we are not that, but we are Atman, it needs lots of undoing. So that's first he says, you are that. Third he repeats. So same thing is, that is why Swami says, go on repeating, I am God, I am no different from God. So that is, you are that. To explain that, he says, he is a doubt. Arjuna says, I know you are God, so you are always there. But I am this body. So he is thinking the body. That is what the whole thing is. He said, you are mistaken. You are not that body, mind, intellect. You are that Atma. So for that beautiful example he gives, repeatedly our scriptures give three examples. One is gold, another is mud, another is ocean. That means the jewels, so many kinds. You have got gold. With that you make earrings, you make a necklace, you make a bracelet, you make that anklet, so many things. They're different things. But what is there in all of that? It's the same gold.
Gold.
Similarly, whether we are human beings, whether animals, plants, birds, beasts, butterflies, whatever it is, the whole creation, the underlying thing is the same, made up of the same divine substance. But the manifestation forms and names are separate. So once that gold, that jewels are melted, then what happens? It is the same old gold. So before, that's what he was telling him. Before the jewels were formed, it is the gold. In between, the name and form is there. Again, it melted. It is gold. That is why Swami gave a nice story. There is one guy who had a Ganesha made with Ganesha in a gold statue. And then he has in front of Ganesha is Mushika, he's a Mushika Vahana, that little mouse. So sometime he was lost in business, he became poor, so he has to sell that. He went to the guy, hey, I want to sell this, please give me money. So he said, wait, this is Ganesha weighs about 30 grams. This mouse is 2 grams. So 30 grams multiplied, $100 say that. And here also 2 multiplied. Hey, that is not fair. How can the mouse be same value as Ganesha? For you it is mouse and Ganesha. For me is gold, that's all. So similarly, the wise man looks only at the gold, that means the Atma. They don't look at the form, because for him, mouse is a little thing, so that gold, but that is also gold, and that Ganesha is also gold. So Swami gave the example. So you get ignorance to give importance to the name and form. And same thing with pot, the mud. Before it made with mud, so many parts and other things. Once that is, they start to say it becomes same old mud. So they to think are same thing, another thing, ocean. The waves come, small waves, big waves. So we are all little, that even avatars, they say, is like a huge wave comes and influence. Finally, everything is the ocean of Satchidananda. So he is trying to emphasize, giving by so many examples, that realize that you are the supreme Brahman. So that is why it is a constant spiritual practice. This is the highest practice. So all the things we do, the japa, we do bhajan, service, is to finally realize. Once you realize that there is no more spiritual practices needed, because it is not easy to realize that, because so many things we are immersed in that ignorance. So to undo that, you need all these practices. So any other body, any question before Nirupama continues? Okay, we can continue.
Though it is associated with the body, the Atma is unaffected by the gunas and the dharmas. That is to say, it has no qualities and characteristics. You are unaffected by the changes that the body undergoes when you grow from the infant to the boy, from the boy into the youth, from the youth to the middle-aged man, and thence to the old man. You persist in spite of all of this. It is the same when the body is destroyed. The Atma persists. So the hero will not pine over the change called death. Krishna said this with such emphasis that the chariot shook. I want to read that again, actually. That's really important. So the hero will not pine over the change called death. I think in sort of this physical existence, that can be a really difficult path when you go through loss or a path of grief. But it's so important to remember this pervasive existence of Atma and the permanence of Atma versus the impermanence of a physical form. And this is where Lord Krishna really tries to just encourages Arjuna not to grieve and to sort of evolve his evolving wisdom by seeing not just the universal Atma within him, but then within everyone around him. So even if he loses these physical bodies, these forms that he labels, that he loves, he attaches to, there's still, even if the body doesn't exist anymore, that Atma will always exist. And it's the same Atma within everything. But that sentence I thought was so powerful, and the fact that when Lord Krishna said it, the whole chariot shook. So I always picture like thunder and lightning happening too. So
yeah, that is why it is so powerful. That is why the chariot shook. So you got the good point. That is why who is a hero? Hero is the one. Hero we think is the one who went on the Mount Everest, or who swam across, got gold medals, or that great Nobel laureate. So he gives even Kathopanishad gives, he is the hero who is conquers inside. Here he is giving the definition. You remember this sloka, Bhavina, Dehino asmin yada dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tada dehantara prapti dhiras tatra namu. Dhira means hero. Who is the dhira? Tatra namuhyati. That guy is not, dehino asmin in the body, da dehe kaumaram, childhood, yauvanam youth, and old age come. Similarly, dehantara prapti, just you go to another body, dhiras tatra namuhyati. The hero will not grieve. So that is the thing. So that is what the examples, we may think it is not practical. It is. There are so many sages and saints and spiritual people, they just are completely unaffected. So even they may shed. So for them, this is all drama, like in the night, passing clouds, like that. This is a drama which is going on. But it's not easy. It needs constant practice, because our mind gets attached to the things of the world, the worldly possessions, our family, friends. But it doesn't mean you need to be inert. It doesn't. That's why people think that. So yeah, this wall, it may have a feeling to Swami and everything. It may not feel. It doesn't mean it is greater. So if we have humans, we have feeling with love. We should do love with detachment. That the whole Swami is the greatest example. He showered love whenever somebody is suffering. He went for serve, but with detachment, not getting entangled. That is the whole secret. The whole Gita is that you need to be involved in work, but with the detachment. That is the whole thing. Involved, just don't surrender all your results to God and think God is the only doer. So that is the most important. So he is the hero who just doesn't see that this is all the changing things, like in the body, things change. So that is the thing. So
Very.
go ahead, put it up.
It's on. Huh?
Yeah.
It's on.
Yes.
So he's kind of infusing about Atma and Anatma.
Uh-huh.
So gently he's saying Atma.
No, you can hear that.
Yeah, I can. Gently saying Atma is Nityam.
Yes.
It's changeless. And the body Anatma is changing. So
that is whole thing. You remember the Sankhya Yoga in the beginning, that's all we discussed. The second chapter, we should go back. This is something like in the our regular medicine, you study law or science, you go on reading, rereading, and you'll get the insight. So similarly in Sankhya Yoga, the first thing, that's all he discusses from the sloka 11 on Asocya up to 31. All discussion is about Atma and Anatma, because he gives so many examples, like in the body these things change, or he gives the example of clothes, like old clothes, like you give away and get the new clothes. Similarly, you change the body. Like that, he goes on giving what is Atma, what is Anatma, by many examples from the Shloka 11 to 30, goes on discussing so that he understands. Then only he talks about what is your duty. Don't run away from duty. Then if you do the duty like that with Atma, Anatma, then you become Sthita Prajna. Then you become like an enlightened soul. And what are the qualities of enlightened soul? He described in that 18 shloka. So all this is, he is a great teacher. He is a universal teacher, Jagat Guru, Lord Krishna. So how beautifully he tells first introduction, Atma and Atma, then what we should do, and by doing that, how you attain that stage where enlightened man is, he is always in bliss, he is always in that equanimity. So to attain that, you need to practice. So Atma and Atma is the whole secret. That is why all these four Mahavakyas, what do they say? Tatmasi, you are that Atma, you are Brahman. Aham Brahmasam, I am Brahman. And I am Atma Brahma, I am Atma and Brahma. Swami beautifully said, there is different way, but Swami in English, I am Atma Brahma, I am Atma Brahma, there is different way. So I am Atma Brahma, Prajnana Brahma. Brahman is nothing but awareness, this whole thing is Brahman. So around about only in one sentence, everything is Brahman. That to experience that, all these spiritual practices, the minute we do that, then there is, everything is so precious to attain that stage, Atma and Anatma. That is the purpose. Correct. So continue. Chapter 4. Let's start.
So, chapter 4. Arjuna was still doubt-ridden. "O Lord," he began, "you said that the bodily changes are like the stages of wakefulness, dream, and sleep. But we do not forget our experiences when we awake from sleep. The experiences of previous births are destroyed in memory by the incident called death." Krishna replied that it was not possible to recall to memory all experiences, but it was possible to recall some, for the Atma persisted, though the vehicle had changed. Arjuna then shifted to another point, a point which pesters many besides Arjuna. That is why Krishna says, Dhirashatra.
Dhiras tatra namuhyati. That is what I was telling
Sorry.
you.
Thank you.
Dhiras tatra namuhyati. Muhyati means he won't be agitated. Dhira means hero. He is that hero who doesn't get. Yeah.
The Dhira is not deluded by this. He does not say Arjuna should not be deluded by this. He intends to teach all wavering minds. Krishna solves every doubt as soon as it arises. He said, Arjuna, while passing through the 3 stages, Buddhi somehow manages to keep some points in its hold. But it too is destroyed when death comes to the body. At one stroke, all is forgotten. Memory is the function of the intellect, not the Atma. Now consider this. You cannot now tell exactly where you were on a definite day 10 years ago, can you? But you existed that day 10 years ago. About that, there is no doubt. You dare not deny your existence then. The same is the case of the life for this which you lived, though you have no recollection how and where. The wise man is not deluded by such doubts, nor agitated by them. Shall I keep going?
No, just we can stop here, discuss. So this is, otherwise we'll marathon. A lot of points there here.
I think this just really goes on to make the point of how the permanence of the Atma, we should not attach to any event in our life or any existences in a physical, any events in a physical existence. We're lucky that we have these human births, because with each birth and with each cycle in life, we learn how to not attach so much to these memories and thoughts. And, in Buddhism, and a lot of folks that follow Buddhism, they really talk about detaching from thought, or not having thoughts that attach you to certain events. and that's really stems from this. I thought it was really important when Lord Krishna really talks about your existence, like where you existed. You may not remember even in this lifetime exactly what happened to you 10 years ago. So, but it still happened. Just because you don't remember it or just because you don't have an exact label for it doesn't mean it didn't happen. So I think just having that faith and understanding and not having this attachment to, maybe what we label as good or what we label as bad or what happens in our lives is how we attain that liberation and how we grow in our own inner wisdom.
Because the whole thing is a doubt. He says Arjuna was still doubted, and most of the people's spiritual path, when you are going till you completely attain enlightenment, you will be having doubt. That is why the whole spiritual journey, Lord Krishna says, say you are going on a river, crossing the river. So one shore of the river is Samshayatma Vinashyasi. That means one with doubts will perish. Vinashyati, Lord Krishna's words. Samshayatma, the one with doubts will perish, will go on. And then other side is Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam. The man with complete faith will get the jnanam, will be enlightened. That is why even Shri Baba always two things he said, Shraddha, Saburi. Always that complete faith first in God. That's Swami, we found God first in the form, then you ultimately say everything is Him. First you should have faith in God, and second faith in His words. The problem is Arjuna, even though he's a great hero, still he has the doubts. The very fact goes on asking, Lord Krishna is the one who told him to do the war. Once he said that he should not even ask second question. This was complete. He said so, I will do so. Because whatever God says is truth. Even Swami, we should have belief. And whatever he does is dharma. So people question why Swami did this, why Swami did that, or even about Krishna, why he should have played with Gopikas, or Rama, he killed. So people have all these doubts. That means that is doubt-ridden thing is going to perdition, the downfall. So you should have that complete faith. That is why it is a gift of God to have absolute faith. Shraddha Bhakti Badavo Santana ki se. We even Jayajant, one of these Aratis in Shri Babu said, Shraddha Bhakti Badavo. Please make me have more faith and devotion. So gift to have no doubt. So you should have complete conviction, because that is not. That's why the other day also we heard how Arjuna, when Lord Krishna showed, whatever you said, whether it is a peacock or a dove or a parrot, whatever it is that. We should have that complete conviction. It is not easy. We need to have that absolute faith. Then once you have that, like you see, we heard of, some of you heard about Nisargadatta Maharaj. He was a great Advaitin. He is our one, actually, his book is called I Am That. This Tattvamasi, the name of the book is I Am That. Because he was a BD wala selling, didn't ever go to college or did scholar, but his guru told him, you are that. So he had complete conviction. There is nothing else he did. And that he had complete conviction, and there are so many scholars, intellectual came and get inspired by his teachings. So I am that Nisargadatta Maharaj. You should. So he don't need to be a scholar, just to get that conviction that my teacher, my guru said, I am that, and he had no doubt about it. He didn't do any other thing except the self-inquiry. So we should have that complete conviction. That is why to instill that faith, he is telling, hey, you are that. So don't have that doubt. You are the body and mind and intellect. Because it is not easy. Actually, I was hearing yesterday something, Swami's story. One thing, how to faith is important. So one guy is a Brahmin. He every day one maid, every day he wants milk in the morning for his coffee or making yogurt or curds and all that. So every day she used to come late, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. He was getting irritated. Why you're coming late? What can I do? I cross river and there are a lot of floods. Sometimes it takes time. You are crazy. You just repeat Narayana, Narayana, then you can just come across. Then next day onwards, she was coming on time. She was surprised. How did you come on time? You told me to say Narayana, Narayana, just walk and come. Then he says, really, I want to see. Then he says, okay, I will follow with you. He was going, and then he was following her, so follow me. And then she was going ahead, and this guy was sinking because he has the dhoti. He was trying to pull it up. So says, you are thinking, why happening? You said, say Narayana, why are you pulling up your dhoti? That means you don't have faith in the word Narayana. So she had more faith, even though milkmaid, because she simply believed. Whereas this guy preaches, but he didn't have faith in that. He just told. So you need to have that faith. Swami was telling that is the stories to have that observe. There is a gift of God. People, even you hear in the Bible I shared in front of Swami, when Jesus in the Jerusalem, he was there. There was a soldier, Roman soldier, he's a centurion. You can read in the Gospels. So he had a servant whom he liked like his own son. So he was very sick. He was critically ill, almost dying. So then Jesus was sitting there, giving the sermon. Then so many people were there, and this man he comes running to Jesus. Lord, Master, please, my son, my servant whom I like, my son, is very critical, is dying. Please come and please cure him. He doesn't come. Then Jesus gets up. Okay, I'll come with you. Let us go. He says, no, 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 don't come with me. I don't deserve that. You are such a holy man, so master, you should not come to my house. Just say a word that he will be healed, and I'm happy. Then he says, yes, he'll be healed. Then Jesus looks around the people there in there. See this man, whole of Israel, nobody has a faith like this guy. And he was not his disciple. And the minute he was going towards, that's actually it is even the movie in the Jesus of Nazareth. He was going back to his house, and people came running. Oh, sir, that boy was completely healed. He is now walking. So the faith, and because his own disciples, like you see that Thomas, that's why he's called Doubting Thomas. He was his disciple, he doubted for a while, but though he spread the message of Jesus in India, he's the one who spent mainly in person. He went to India. There are so many cathedrals and churches built after Thomas. That's why particularly in Kerala, there are a lot of people with Thomas last name, you see. So, same thing, Peter, you know that, right? 3 times he denies Jesus before he predicts, no, I won't do that. So it is not easy, even though they are disciples, they deny. Whereas this person who just doesn't have, and I see that in my travels around the world, some Swami's devotees, some people in Croatia, in Argentina, in Russia, they never even saw Swami physically, but they have absolute faith in Swami that he is divine, he is taking care of their life. So that is the kind of thing we should pray to God to give that kind of absolute faith. Then I think we will reach the goal. That is the important point is here. The whole thing, once God said that, you should have conviction and we should have that faith. That is the whole secret. I think this will be time up, I guess. So we think we'll continue next week.